Hey, y'all.
Hey,
Welcome,
hey.
welcome to Cullen's Corner Brownstone After Dark, a town hall. We have brought together some of our closest allies in the Brownstone this evening to talk about something that I know a lot of us have been following in the news, but this evening we wanted to discuss a little bit tonight about some updates that we have found in regards to the Tyre Nichols case. We also would like to discuss two new cases that we have gotten new information on, as well as police reform, where we are currently in the White House and where we stand with that, and what we need to do as a community to first of all, get ahead of it, stay ahead of it, push our leaders who we have put in place by voting them in place, and holding them accountable to making sure that police reform become a reality in this country, which absolutely blows my mind that we have to actually beg for that. And then we're going to go around first of all, and let's introduce ourselves. So I'll start. I'm Paulette. I'm one of the founders of Brownstone Worldwide, which houses brownstoneworldwide.com. We have KCCR The Brownstone, and also Brownstone Living Magazine, which actually the February edition will be coming out on Monday. So get excited for that. If you do not have a subscription yet, get excited about that. Head over to brownstoneworldwide.com so you can go ahead and get your subscription. All right. Who's next?
What's going on in the family? It's Cullen's Corner, one of the founders of Brownstone Media. So glad to see you guys here, and we're gonna get it going tonight. Yep. Hey, ladies.
Hi, I am the Nicole Johnson. I'm the founder and CEO of B&B Financial Services, which has branched into Girl Your Money Matters, affectionately known as the Gym. And I am one of the radio personalities here on the Brownstone Worldwide. Because we're going to get you financially fit. Woo-hoo.
Just strong.
Just strong.
Who's next?
I guess I'll go next. I'll go next. Hey, everybody. I'm Leanne Dose, self-care strategist. I know I sound all smooth grooves on you. Don't let all this smoothness fool you. I'm here to help you get it together. And my show, I'm also a personality here, Mondays at 10 a.m., Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Wake up happy, sis. It's what we do around here.
Hey.
And good evening, everyone. Y'all know me. I'm multitasking. I'm multitasking. It's your boy DJ Tony Sanchez, the T-Man. Every Saturday and Sunday at KCCR Radio, the Brownstone. You dig? Where we play the sounds that make you get up, get down, and get you prepared for your week. You feel what I'm saying? Because we are changing the narrative. What's up, the king and my queens? What's up?
What's going on? What's going on?
All my family. Boy, I love you.
We ready.
Well, I ain't got my fan yet.
Oh, I need to go. Mine is in the other room. I'm about to go get it because
you're not gonna be able to see mine, but I have one too. Yes,
I know. Y'all just
because it's about time. It's about that time to have it.
Yes, it is about that time to have it because we are going to be going in. First couple of things we want to do is, first of all, thank everyone for taking time out of their busy Friday to come and hang out with us this evening during this Cullen's Corner Brownstone After Dark Town Hall, where we're going to be talking about Tyre Nichols. We're also going to be talking about the Black Lives Matter co-founder's cousin who was tased to death in Los Angeles. Yes, I said it just like that. Los Angeles. And not only that, but we also have some new information about another case that is starting to gain some traction in the news. Hasn't really hit national news yet, but there's been another shooting of a young man in Mississippi. So we're going to be sharing that with you as well. But we also want to make sure that we share some other information with you. And those are updates, where the cases are, what we have learned, and then also we want to make sure that we are providing some information about what we can do to hold our people, our lawmakers accountable. And then also some resources and things of that nature that are going to be important, especially with the Tyre Nichols case and so forth. I do know that he was buried last week. and there were a lot of people in attendance at his I'm going to call it his homegoing service. We learned a lot about Tyre and who he was and as an individual. And what I want to do is focus on that and make sure that we focus on the goodness of the person that he was and what he left behind. That's the first thing. We do understand that Tyre Nichols was absolutely a father of a 4-year-old child. We also know that he was a skateboarder and loved and had a passion for it. And so they are literally, a couple of skateboarders have gotten together who are on the skateboarding circuit, and they're going to be naming an entire park after this young man, which I think is a great honor. Lastly, he was a photographer, and he lived in Memphis, Tennessee, folks. So he took beautiful photos of the Memphis area and the surrounding areas, and he was a true artist at heart. Some of the other things that we have learned recently, I'm going to let Cullen kind of speak on those, because I know that you've learned of some information when we went live the first time. And I definitely want to kind of put this into perspective of what we learned from that first town hall that we did when when the video first broke. What did we find out, Cullen?
Yeah, basically a lot of things came out from that day, or at least from Memphis, that a lot of rumors were going around saying this was personal, this was something that was premeditated, and come to find out there's a lot of things that came out, but come to find out that he was either dating or dated one of the police officers' ex-wives, and he didn't appreciate that. So he used his game to teach him a lesson, and so to speak. So that's why they didn't have any means of reasons why they stopped or anything like that. I don't think they meant to kill him, but they just went overboard, and this is a result. And a lot of other things came out, unfortunately. 3 of them were my frat brothers, and I know my fraternity, they have rescinded their membership, and because they didn't do it in the name of Omega, but anything you do is going to put a scar on Omega. So unfortunately, they put a scar on Black men in general, police, and their fraternity and their families. So those were some of the things, some of the highlights that that came out that day. And I'm sure as the weeks and months go by, we're going to start hearing a lot more other things that come out.
Okay, and one thing that I know, thanks for that, Cullen. I noticed that you stated there's a video here called Police Stand Down. Yes. Folks, if you do not have the stomach for this, we're going to ask you. This is not the assault. No,
this is a video. I wanted to play this video because it gives you people that don't understand, or they want to put a blind eye to what's going on in the community, especially police brutality amongst African Americans and minorities. This is something that if you're silent, you're complicit. And fortunately, in this video, you're going to see the people in the neighborhood come to this young Black man's defense and save his life. So I wanted to play this video because this is what can happen if we take action.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and share that with the team now. And Corner family, just be prepared, okay?
Neighbors, they likely saved a Black man's life by responding in this way.
My boy, I'm so confused. Like, what are they even talking about? Everything. You need to make sure you don't have a gun. I don't have no weapon, sir.
He's holding a phone.
I have no weapon. This is a speaker. I don't have anything on me. I don't have anything on me. I have nothing. What?
He's not holding a gun. I'm afraid of
the person. What are you talking about?
We're much more scared of the police in this situation than this guy. Can you guys calm down? Calm the down.
He has no weapon. I got it.
nothing on him.
I have nothing on
He has nothing on him.
What are you talking about, Mom? I can't even see anything, man.
I know I can't see anything either.
Do you want me to walk up with you, man?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk up with you, okay?
Bro, I'm just getting on the ground. I'm not even walking anywhere, bro. They're aiming guns at me.
They don't care if you have a gun. Oh my God, this is crazy. The community doesn't care because my brother didn't do anything. And they literally just had guns literally aimed at my brother. These cops had guns aimed at my brother. In Seattle, what's up? Give me a flight, I'm leaving tomorrow. Y'all just tried to assassinate my brother, bitch. Talking about shots? Oh, y'all don't care, man.
Walter. Back out.
Let me tell you why these cops left. They left because they clearly saw the man they were about to assault or have adverse engagement with, whatever they wanted to do. They left without that engagement because they clearly saw a community had his back. This is what happens when we are a coalition. This is what happens when we operate in a spirit of unity. This is what happens when we are more concerned about drawing circles rather than drawing lines.
That video struck me so much. And it struck me because, number one, I use that video. I do some DEI work at my job. And I use this video as a learning tool, even though it was recent, because I want to show people the power that you have to stop this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's impossible. You see what they did? One person just stood there with him, and they didn't want to shoot that person, so they just stood down. But if they wouldn't have done that, who knows what would have happened?
Yep.
So I just think that was very.
If you were watching what they got a call or something that told them that they had the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
So it was partially the community, but if this was a community of Black people, let's be serious.
Mhm.
That young man still would have been shot and killed.
Yes.
If it was a Black person that stood up for him,
Absolutely.
right?
And
I agree that
the other person
he
might
has
have
to
got
do
killed too.
something. Right. I agree that the community has to do something, but it has to be a community that they give a damn about
Right.
Yes.
senselessly murdering, because they were full on going to kill that young man.
Oh, no
For
doubt.
nothing.
That was
He
my
wasn't.
point.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
And I'm from Seattle, and this is why this really pissed me off even more.
Yeah.
Is being from Seattle, and even though everybody thinks Seattle is this wonderful place and that everybody gets along, it's a melting pot, it really isn't, because those microaggressions and macroaggressions, right? A lot of times it's microaggressions, right? They're very racist and they don't do it in your face. It's real slick, it's real sly. The police are just getting reckless everywhere, right?
Mhm.
They just don't give a crap anymore. And it hurt me to see that, because that young man didn't have anything. He was an innocent bystander in all of it. He had nothing to do with the shots that happened. Nothing at all.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was complicit. He was compliant. He was compliant to everything they said. And they were escalating.
Oh,
instead of doing their job and de-escalating the situation. They were the ones that were agitated. And that's what happened. And that's the reason I want to show it, because not because if it would have been Black people, I agree with you, Leanne. If it was Black people, it would have been totally different
Absolutely.
result. But my reasoning for showing that is to our white brothers and sisters.
Absolutely.
Not to turn a blind eye.
No.
Because
Exactly.
like I said, if you're silent, you're complicit. And these people did something. Even though they didn't know this young guy from Adam. But they felt the need to protect him. And that's what needs to happen.
Yes.
Yes. Everywhere.
Everywhere,
Right.
you know.
Absolutely.
And I love that because he actually stood on it, not in our neighborhood, not in my community. I'm not going to watch you assassinate my brother in my, right in my face and where I'm living. And he hit me in the heart when he said, I'm out of Seattle. I'm out of here. You did? Man.
That was a woman that said that. She was like, "Give me a flight." She was like, "Give me a flight."
A flight. Yeah, I heard that.
You can't run from it because the police anger is everywhere. You can't run from that.
Yeah.
We have to stand up. Our communities have to stand up.
Yes.
And people of non-Black descent
Agreed.
must stand up, because that's the only way. When we really truly come together and just like I said, start drawing circles and not drawing lines, and let's be inclusive in our communities. We live in the communities with these people,
Absolutely.
right? And instead of being separate, we have to come together. And just like I said, not in our community. You're not going to come here and murder another Black man, Asian man, Mexican, right? It doesn't matter.
Yep.
We're not standing for it anymore.
Right, because in the end, we all suffer. We all suffer.
We do.
So
here's my take on that, and then I know we have to move on to some more information that we found out. What was really disheartening about this video was, for me, and it's actually posted on Brownstone Worldwide. We put it up there earlier today for you all to see, and that's the Facebook page. Let me be clear. We will also be sharing that on brownstoneworldwide.com. What was most disconcerting to me was the level of times that they had to tell the police to stand down on an unarmed Black man. Where I'm having my concern, where I am having my concern is how we are quick to criminalize a Black man immediately. We don't know if he's in distress. We don't know if he's having a stroke. We don't know if he is running from harm himself. We don't know, as in Mr. Keenan's situation in Los Angeles, he was actually in a car accident. He was running to get help when he was tased twice by the Los Angeles Police Department and died of cardiac arrest. This young man was the cousin of one of the co-founders of Black Lives Matter. And you can actually hear him in the video saying, y'all about to
George Floyd me. Yeah.
And he literally said it. So he knew that the assault was coming. And rather than them trying to find out what the issue is first, they immediately go to their vehicles and go for guns drawn and all kinds of things. My concern here, I think, is when we're talking about police reform, this is where people like us in our communities and those people who are a part of the voting community, folks, that means y'all better get out here and vote. If you ain't voting, you need to register today and vote. Okay, so that we can get people in position that are going to start making some changes in the House and Congress, the Senate, whatever you want to call it. We have to get to the crux of what the issue is, and there is no police reform, period. It's a free-for-all out here. I don't care what anybody says. And we're hearing about some of the issues. I want to share another one that was sent to me from a young man's mother. Michael Corey Jenkins was brought into the emergency room at UMMC in January 25th, actually, 2023. Wednesday morning with a gunshot wound to the mouth. I want you all to hear this. She is stating, when I found out my son was shot in the mouth by the police, I contacted the Rankin County Sheriff Department and asked, what were they charging him with? I was told he was under investigation. I then gave them my name and phone number so they could contact me directly. When my son was in surgery the first time, I was not there, but they said they needed to contact me to do another emergency surgery. So the doctor called and told me he had to have another surgery because he had a bleeding artery, and she was trying to contact me. And she said that she had just received my information an hour prior to her calling when the Rankin County Police Department had my information. The same police department that shot my son in the mouth is guarding him every day. Not once a day, not at all, every day. So he has to literally look at the people who shot him. So he was in ICU where he was being watched. Now he's in a room with a Rankin County police officer in the room with him, and there's no way for anybody to see him. And I'm concerned for my son's life that something may happen to him. P.S. They accused my son of displaying a gun and that that was their reasoning of shooting him. But the witnesses stated that he didn't have a gun. The witness told us that he was beaten, tased, and handcuffed while he was on his knees. The witness also stated that they went back and forth tasing to see whose tase was the strongest. I want y'all to let that sink in just a minute. She also goes on to say, my son was handcuffed when he was shot in the mouth by Rankin County officers. My son is still in critical condition and has a long road to recovery. With everyone's continuous prayers and support, we'll be able to get the justice my son deserves. Not only justice for him, but for every other innocent male or female that Rankin County Sheriff's Department has killed. Anything that you can donate, this is from her GoFundMe page, which was sent to me, will be greatly appreciated. So there has been an update as of the 7th. She just wants to thank each and every one that has supported them through this trying time. They were finally able to see Michael, and they were able to finally get the police to agree to remove the police officer from his room. They have a long road of recovery, and they're asking for continued prayers as they seek justice for the injustice that was done to this young man, clearly for no reason. I needed to make sure that we shared that information and that this young man is still facing charges, and no one can figure out why.
And see, that's the crazy insanity of this whole situation, is because everywhere in the police structure, the culture and the narrative of that culture has not changed in over 50 years. Since I watched the march, the real reason of the King Dream was the police brutality. That's the real purpose of that whole situation, man. And you fast forward 50 years later, and we right back where we started.
Yeah.
Because the culture of the police department has not changed.
No.
Until that whole culture is eradicated, we will continue to go through this revolving door. And the unfortunate part is, it's always us people of color that pay the ultimate price of it.
Yeah. So here's the question that I have. What kind of reform does America need? What kind of reform are we looking for at this point?
That's a good question.
I said that's a really hard question to answer
Because
there's police reform, right? But it goes farther than that, because you've got the medical professionals who are not giving them adequate and proper care because they believe in this Blue Lives Matter over anybody else. And I'm not saying that Blue lives don't matter, but so do ours. Our lives matter too, right? And then it also goes to the court systems that are not holding the police accountable, right? It's like that's what it's a cultural change that we need. And I don't know how we get there to where they stop seeing us as the enemy. They stop seeing us as these animals, as this thing, this scourge, this devil that they have to eradicate from the face of the earth, because that's how they see us. And
They
that's how
do.
they treat us. And we need a healing. This world needs a healing.
Totally.
A cleanse and a healing. We need to say, we need some sage, we need some all the things.
Where my
Not all the things.
We need you know, you look,
all
Paulette, that little sea salt and cinnamon and stuff you was talking about, they need that all around.
Sprinkle. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Sprinkle it
it's
everywhere.
unfortunate. I'm Nicole is holding her mouth. And that
can
means
tell.
Nicole is holding her tongue.
We
Ma'am,
don't want
what is on your mind? Let's talk
Please
it out.
share.
Let's talk it out.
Please share that.
Oh,
So
she's gonna sweat out her perm, y'all. Y'all be careful now. Come on now.
So point number one, my undergrad degree is in criminal justice. Okay. And when I was in 8th grade, I decided I was going to be an attorney. I was going to overturn the criminal justice system. I was going to fix it from the inside out. And then I went on a prison tour. And I determined there was no way in the world I was going to continue with this line of work. All right. I needed my clients to be able to bail themselves out, come to my office. I couldn't do the correctional thing at all. But as I went on even further and did a stint at the U.S. Attorney's Office, getting to see some things from behind the scenes on the other side, to sit in that seat in the justice system. When you talk about what does reform look like, because it goes from down so low to so high, I don't know if there's one answer for that. Even if reform comes down from the top, there's not a continuous checks and balance for the system to make sure that it continues. It's always a loophole. It's always somebody whose palm gets greased, somebody's head turned the other way. It's always going to be there. So I don't know that there's a one flat answer as to what does reform look like. Because if you just have one, you're going to dirty up the whole barrel. You got one bad apple, the barrel is bad. And what happens is that people are in such dire straits that finances aren't in order. They getting divorced. They having all these personal problems. And guess what? There go that loophole. Man, if everybody looking that way, I can pick up that stack of cash over here. If everybody looking that way, I'm going to bust him in his face and won't nobody know. And I'm just taking out my aggression. So it's always a loophole. So I don't know that there's one flat fix to that, but the conversations need to continue. Okay.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. My second point is you got quite a bit of police officers that are hitting the front page with all this discombobulated behavior and aggression that they have. And those who are doing good, taking a bad rap for them.
Yeah.
I have family members who wear the blue. So I have a worry and a heart for them because I know how they raised me. I know how they impacted me. They're not taking $1. They're not hitting nobody upside the head. They're not being what is seen by most. But because you are the brother or the sister to the boys in blue,
yeah,
you association, you're guilty by association. Yep, so I have a strong concern and fear for my family members who are walking out there and could be victimized just because of what those bad apples did. Right. So Paulette made a very good point. We still need to have the actual reform in the books because then we can hold you accountable. Officers are not being held accountable.
No.
It goes right. I I will not say that it's gotten bad over the last 10, 15 years, because Tony made a very good point. Dr. King marched because of police brutality.
Yeah.
And it may have taken a dip. It may have slid under the radar. But then we let this virus into the White House that said, let's make America great again. And our people,
again shit though. That's what me.
Me, we still trying to again. When again, see, in order to get to again, that needed to be a first time. And we have yet to see what the first time was, because we wasn't here. I had a young lady at my office, and see, this is where I have to really pull it in, exhale, and then pull it in again. She said, I think I'm being discriminated against because I'm an immigrant. I'm sorry, you were what? Are you talking to me? Yeah. Because last I checked, you came here whether you fled from your country, whether you came here because your parents thought that the America was great and they wanted to. My folks came on some ships where they laid in layers like this. They were stolen from where they call home and brought here. Baby, if you're an immigrant, please define what I am. So please don't talk immigrant and discrimination to me. So when we have scenarios where we're looking at we are being discriminated against, we are being abused, and then somebody comes along and say, let's make America great again, the people that again registers to, this is how they treat us. Now, Leanne got a very good point about how they see us as animals, and that's how they treat us. I want us to put a little twist on that part.
Come on now.
Put a little twist on that. But wait a minute, let me switch over.
Because you know when you twist, you got to switch.
So it's not always about fear, because some of it is intimidation. See, we come with great inventions. We create. We are geniuses, and we can run circles around them. But who are we to make them look bad with our creations and our inventions and our knowledge and our wisdom? Who are we? So since I cannot contain you, since you think you're going to act and show me up, let me dehumanize you.
That's why they erased all our history.
Let me mistreat you and degrade you. Let me take your women from you. Let me rape and abuse them. Let me spit on you, boy. Let me rape this gal. That's what they do. So it's not always because they fear us because of our size and our appearance. They fear our intelligence.
They always.
They fear that we can be better than them. They fear that we, in the right numbers, we not only outnumber them, we outsmart them, we do better than them. And then when they see us in our magnificence, they want to do what?
They bomb it, destroy it. Like Wall Street, baby.
Michelle Obama walked all of these platforms with her arms out. The toneness, the fineness of our first lady. And they talked about, who is she to disgrace the White House stairs and the porches? But what happened? You saw newscasters, you saw other dignitaries, you saw others with they finely toned arms out, though they talked about her badly.
Yes,
you saw the next first lady, Melania, wearing some of the same.
Ma'am, don't do that. Don't do that.
You have to. No.
That lady that
No.
moved in the White House. She wasn't no first lady. She'll never be a first lady.
Technically, she still
It was
gets
a hole in that
she
house.
still gets
It was
the
a
name.
No, she
hole
was
in
a
the
Oh,
Playboy
okay,
bunny.
folks.
Oh,
folks.
nope, that's no.
Playboy bunny.
No. But we're
Come
not.
on,
We're
come
not
on
going to
back,
do
come
that.
on back.
Okay.
Right. We're
Oh,
not
my
going to do
bad,
that.
my bad.
It's not even
Okay.
about her.
You know, that's the Chicago.
It's not
in
even
us.
about
We
her.
sorry.
And we don't want somebody to disrespect Michelle Obama,
Right,
so we should
right.
not disrespect Melania. She
Not
came in through her
disrespecting
husband.
her.
No, I'm
Not
yet.
disrespecting her. I'm
I'm
calling her
saying
what
so.
she
She,
Who
was.
was hot?
but she was
She was
still
a
the first.
Playboy
She's still.
bunny.
That's fine. That's fine. She got to be the first lady because she married the racist. Well, he ain't even a racist. She married the man.
The man.
I don't even know what else to call him.
The
She married
body.
him.
Tito.
But what I was saying is, to your point, when she came with some of the similar outfits as Michelle Obama,
Mhm.
they ain't say nothing.
Of
Mhm.
course.
When she came and stole her writers took whole speeches of Michelle Obama's
Yeah.
and had her speak it, they are always emulating us. That's
Yeah.
a given.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look back, what do they call it? Buck breaking.
Mm.
That was them
Yes.
raping men. It wasn't just them raping women. They had to dehumanize the men first,
Mhm.
right? So they were raping the men too.
Yeah.
They've tried to destroy us since they brought us here. We didn't ask to be, well, since they brought us here, but we were already here.
Yeah.
Come on,
Some of
somebody.
us were already here. We're
Right.
Come
not
on
going to
now.
talk about that.
Right.
How, if you look at the Native American tribes and their influence,
Mhm.
and then you go back to these African tribes, you're seeing the same dances, you're seeing the same skin tones, you're seeing even that straight ass hair that you think is
That you think.
only
Right.
non-black. We have those things too.
Too.
We have been here. Egypt, whether they want to say Egyptians are black or not, we all know they are, and that was the center of the world.
The world.
Financial education. It
Yeah.
The
was.
whole Mecca.
And so
We were doing
let me
all
just
of this
intercede
before
really
them.
quick here. Big shout out to Freddie Taylor, Crystal Taylor of Urban Intellectuals. They are in Africa right now. They are a part of the
Egypt.
Brownstone family as well. So big shout out to them. Freddie Taylor himself is one of the Qs. So he and his beautiful wife have taken an entire group of people to Africa, and they are actually in Nubia now.
Wow.
And they have been sharing beautiful pictures of all of the Black folks who are a part of Kemet and Egypt. So it's beautiful to see. Beautiful to
It
see.
is.
Shout out to them. I just wanted to kind of point that out. But
Yeah.
it's hot in here.
Let me add one thing.
It's hot.
The one thing that I love about what Paulette has brought here is, as part of the Brownstone Worldwide, it is a place where we can have these discussions
Yes.
about how to change the narrative. And even if we don't know how to change, we're going to continue with the conversation, because until the situation changes, we need to keep talking about it. We need to keep doing things about it. So I love that the brownstoneworldwide.com exists. I love that we are all a part of the personality family, so that we can touch on these topics that impact us. Because as I always say, if the narrative has been wrong, right? We now have technology that allows us to tell it correctly, so that in 40, 50, 60, 70 years, when we're not here, if it's still being told wrong, it's your fault.
Come on. Say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't want to be in the same position 30 years and we're still fighting this. I mean, we may still be fighting it, but we have to know that we've done our best.
The vote still has to come up to be approved every so many years.
Right, and that's ridiculous.
Somebody tell me, why do we have an African American vice president? Why did we have an African American president of the United States who is married to an African American woman, and we still have to get permission for women to vote?
Ooh, it's hot in here.
No, but yeah, we got to come in truth. We got to come in truth and in realness. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and these are touchy subjects. You know, a lot of people get nasty, a lot of people might get offended, but we need all of this here to get to where we need to get to. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna take all of us collectively like this to see and be a part of the change that we wish. You know what I'm saying? So man, I
let's
applaud
talk about that really
Marco.
quick, folks. Go ahead, Cullen.
I just, you know, my thing, and I'm gonna continue to repeat this, is be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
if you are uncomfortable about a subject, don't be quiet. We have to talk about it because it's like Leanne and Nicole said, you know, we have to continue to talk about our history because they don't want us to talk about our history. And then, matter of fact, they kind of whitewashed the history.
Man, they
with
taking
this the big CRT.
Oh my Jesus,
God.
y'all just
whole nother show.
Yeah, that's another topic we're gonna talk about another day. But here's just to touch on it briefly. And I've had this conversation before. If we don't teach our history, the true history, it's going to happen again.
Yes.
You know, if you take away stuff out because you're embarrassed, because this is how the country came about, or my God, that's my great uncle in that picture. You know, he's racist. Oh my God. You know, hey, you got to embrace it. Be better. Be better.
Own it and be better.
Don't dismiss it and turn a blind eye, because that's history. You have to teach it and teach it correctly so it can happen.
Absolutely.
And when we think about our education system, I didn't learn about Huey, Angela, until I specifically took an African American Studies class.
Yeah.
And I took the class, it was either that or another math class under a certain umbrella. The hell, I didn't beg my way for this seat for this other class. You know, I'm not going to put myself through this here again. Let me go over here and learn something that I know I can at least relate to.
There you go.
So my thing is this. When I learned about Christopher Columbus, when I learned about the people who wrote the Declaration of Independence, and 7 years ago, our forefathers did blah, 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 and the preamble to the Constitution. Why was I not learning about the Black history along with that history? Because at the time that those things were being written, my people was making history too. My people were doing things too. We wasn't just falling back in the background, shucking and jiving. We were making great strides and creating and educating, being scientists. Why were we not reading about those things in the same history book? See, U.S. history from something to 1877, and then from 1877 to 19 something. Why was I not learning about Dr. King except outside of Black History Month? Why was he not in my books? Why was Harold Washington, the first mayor of the city of Chicago, not in my book? Why was he not there? Why was Condoleezza Rice climbed to the White House not in my books? Yeah. Why were we not reading about the lady who went into space and then died on that spaceship up there? Yeah. Why was she not in my books? How did she get there? Where did she go to school? What did she study? What was her life like? Why was Thurgood Marshall not in my books? I only saw it in Black History Month.
All right, so let's wrap it up. Let's bring it back in, because now we're talking about CRT. That's another town hall, critical race theory, and we absolutely need to have an entire town hall on that particular topic. Bring it down, Nicole, because girl, you just got your hair did.
Right, yeah, I might be back on Tuesday. But I appreciate it, because all of those things lead to why and what do we do?
Yep. Why and what do we do? So let's talk about that.
The killing of Tyre Nichols.
Yeah.
The killing of our young Black men. The killing of our young Black women.
Yeah.
Our Black people.
Yes.
When does it stop? What do we do to make it stop?
So let's talk about that really quick. A couple of things that we need to know. Some new information has come across that has just been sent to me. So somebody's paying attention. Ex-Memphis police officer Preston Hemphill lied about seeing reckless driving. And if you see the video, it's clear. And that Tyre Nichols put up a fight during the traffic stop. That too is in the video. If you ever see the video, some of you I know here have stated you don't want to see it. I did. The traffic stop that eventually led to him being beaten, newly obtained documents show. You don't need no documents for that. When you see the video, it is clear they literally were gunning for him. Hemphill also had 2 sets, listen closely, y'all, 2 sets of, quote, personally owned handcuffs the night he and other officers from the Memphis Police Department pulled Nichols from his car. Department policy requires its officers to have department-issued cuffs. The documents obtained through public records request were sent to the Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission, or POST, by Memphis Police in an attempt to have Hemphill decertified. MPD also sent a request to POST to decertify 5 other officers implicated in Nichols' death. The documents include the statement of charges for Memphis's police department, an internal investigation, and subsequent hearing. Hemphill was fired February 3rd. He has not been criminally charged. So let's take this and put this into context. And I know we almost out of time, but let's listen to this very closely, folks. We might go over just a little bit, but I need y'all to hear this. This man, who has not been charged, by the way, is white. Let's talk about that. The other thing is, here's something else. What were you doing with your own handcuffs? That sounds like this was premeditated, doesn't it?
That's exactly what it is, and it's going to count.
100%.
It's
So
going
I
to
wanted
count.
to bring up some information that I saw.
Okay, go ahead.
So they're doing internal investigations, not only with Mr. Nichols' situation, but every situation, every person that was brought to jail or brought to justice by the Scorpion team. Now it's up for investigation. They say it's thousands of cases. God. Thousands of cases. There was one case this gentleman was talking about today. He's now suing the city for $5 million. The same team beat him, and he told his story. And
I knew it.
They were just. It's almost like they were. Unfortunately, they used their shield as a weapon, and they felt that because we're police officers, we're better than black people, even though you're black. And unfortunately, once you start not caring about your own people, what are you? So I think, like I said, a lot more stuff is going to come out of this.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot more stuff. Just pay attention to the news. Pay attention to stuff that's coming out, especially from this bandit group, and a lot of the people that they arrested. Jeez. A lot of stuff will come out of it.
Yeah. So let's talk briefly about the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act of 2021. It passed the House on March 3rd of 2021. Y'all, it's 2023. Let's talk about that. So this bill actually addresses a wide range of policies and issues regarding policing practices and law enforcement accountability. It actually increases accountability for law enforcement misconduct, restricts the use of certain policing practices, enhances transparency and data collection, and establishes best practices and training requirements. So let's talk about what it does. It's supposed to, now listen closely, supposed to, because they wear video cam footage now. They can pull the footage and they still find the folks not guilty. So let's talk about what it's supposed to do. 1, lowers the criminal intent standard from willful to knowing or reckless to convict a law enforcement officer for misconduct in a federal prosecution. 2, limits qualified immunity as a defense to liability in a private civil action against a law enforcement officer. And 3, grants administrative subpoena power to the Department of Justice, the DOJ, in pattern or practice investigations. So this actually establishes a framework to prevent and quote unquote remedy racial profiling by law enforcement at the federal, state, and local levels. I find that to be difficult to do when in reality, when paddy wagons and policing began in this country, it was at the beginning of Jim Crow laws, right? And Cullen is telling me we have to wrap, but listen, I want to continue this conversation. And so what I am going to encourage us to do is let's come back and let's continue this conversation. Say within.
Let's turn this right on over to Monday.
You got it.
Let's take this right on over to Monday.
Yep.
Turn it over to right on Girl Your Money Matters.
Let's talk.
Because the things that are about to happen, that are going to happen, that have happened,
yeah,
it all reverts back to our finances for our
connects.
Because guess what? If everybody's going to be paying, they're going to start paying out these things. Guess what's going to happen? Your taxes are going up.
Yeah.
Right. So, in essence, we're paying our community members for the suffering that they've experienced.
Oh my God.
That
Come on.
All right, y'all.
Come on.
We gonna come back.
Yeah.
Open this topic right back up.
Yeah.
On Monday night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on Girl Your Money Matters. We're gonna continue this conversation. And I want all of you to come back. I'm getting angry.
Uh-oh.
And that means change.
Very angry because I remember having to have a conversation with my son when he was in high school to say, listen, I know how much you like to wear these sweatshirts, these hoodies over your head, but mama gonna need you to give them all to me and don't you even think about it.
Yeah.
And here's why. I gotta tell him
to do that.
Keep your hands out of your pocket. Mama, do I need to buy you 2 more pairs of gloves? Whatever it is. Do I need to get you some earmuffs? Because police officers drive up and down the community road. And I can't afford to have my baby shot. But guess what? I didn't have that conversation just with my son. I had to have with my daughter too. Right? I had to remember not to put my hoodie on. So I'm getting angry. Because see, my tax dollars pay y'all salary to begin with. And then I gotta turn around and pay a family for your bad.
All right. And that's where we gonna wrap.
That's it.
Because Nicole is serious. We will see you all Monday night for Girl Your Money Matters. And we're going to talk about how this is going to impact your money. All right, you guys. This has been a great show. Cullen, I'm going to hand it back over to you because Nicole is pissed for real. And I'm emotional too. But Cullen, I'm handing it back over to you.
Be pissed. Be pissed. Because if you aren't pissed, again, what are you? What are you doing? You know, if
nothing's gonna
when
change.
people say, "Oh my God, this just happened," this has been happening.
Yeah,
this has been happening. Now it's just being televised. Now it's just being videotaped. You know, so we have to, you know, when we talk about reform, when we talk on Monday, we can talk a little bit more about reform. But we also, like Paulette said at the beginning, we have to get some of these jokers out of office that's against what we are.
Yeah,
because what's going to happen if we don't? It's just going to be a vicious circle. So thank everyone for coming, ladies. Tony, it's been real. I appreciate you guys. We're gonna see y'all on Monday. And Paulette, you got a couple of things we need to talk about before we head out?
Yeah, let's clear the air really quick before we go. One love to everybody on here. We do appreciate you guys. Nicole, I understand how you feel. First of all, we want to thank everybody from the Brownstone Air Personality community for coming out tonight and hanging out with us. Don't forget on Monday, if you have not signed up for the newsletter, head over to brownstoneworldwide.com. Get that newsletter so you can get a list of all of the upcoming shows for the week. Monday, Brownstone Living Magazine, February releases. Get your copy by going over to brownstoneworldwide.com. Go to the contact page and you will be able to purchase just the one, or you can get ready to subscribe for the year. All right, we got some great stuff in there, including a beautiful piece on the movie Descendant from the Netflix documentary. You don't want to miss that. So we
Nice.
definitely want you guys to see that. Check it out. We're going to be interviewing Miss Vida Robbins, who is a direct descendant of the Clotilda, which was a ship that was sent to Africa, stole a group of over 100 Africans and brought them back to the U.S. illegally after slavery had been abolished. It was done on a bet, and he won the bet.
Yeah.
Now we have descendants that live here amongst us in Mobile, Alabama, called Africatown.
Yeah.
So if you have not seen the movie, we do encourage you to go ahead and check it out. That's number one. And also make sure that you are keeping yourself connected and locked to KCCR Radio, the Brownstone, and also KCCR, the app. That is where all of these beautiful people can be heard throughout the week. We got Leanne Dose starting us off today and Monday morning with Wake Up Happy Sis. Then, of course, we have the Lunch and Learn Hour with me and all of our amazing guests that come and give you something to talk about. We're going to be having next week Kimberly O'Neill, who is a wonderful strategist that helps people to get the grants that they're seeking. And we also have some other amazing guests that are going to be hanging out with us next week as well. You don't want to miss that. Stay connected to the Brownstone on a regular basis. We love y'all. This one goes out to Tyre Nichols. Let's say his name. Have a great one, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Night.